Well, it is warming up, that's for sure. We're going to get to the mid-70s today and into the 70s again tomorrow. So enjoy it. Enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy the spring.
Whoa.
Did you hear that? I think I just ripped my shirt. 48 degrees is what we've got in Linden right now. Mike Barrett with us from Barrett Insurance Agency with good policies. Happy Tuesday, sir.
Happy Tuesday to you, too. Sorry.
No, it's all right. So last week we talked about insurance policies on things that not everybody has, campers and motorhomes and such like that.
Yeah.
And, it is springtime. A lot of first-time buyers out there of not just cars or homes or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you associate one other motor vehicle with summer, we think about the two-wheeled kind and even the three-wheeled kind.
That's true. That's true. Time for the motorcycles and the trikes to be on. Diehards have been out for a couple of weeks now.
They have been.
Those who tend to wait, the guys out there who have bikes that don't see dust or rain, they haven't been out yet.
I got to tell you, they really love the stretch of 114 up past my place. And I'm not exaggerating to you, and this is where insurance is going to come into play eventually, right? I have heard and seen packs of these screaming crotch rockets, they call them. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Flying up through there, and I'm not exaggerating, in excess of 100 miles an hour. That's stupid to start with, but it's the season.
It is the season.
Let's touch on it.
Yeah.
Okay, my question to you is this. Does a motorcycle fall under an automotive policy for insurance?
That's a great question. And I can't say this with every company. There may be a company or two out there that do put motorcycles on personal auto policies. If they do, I don't know who they are, but I don't want to rule that out completely. But in my experience, and with the companies that I work with, that is not the case. So all of my companies that offer auto insurance do not have an offering on that policy for a motorcycle policy. So you need to go to a separate policy completely. And that's easy. We have many companies like American Modern Insurance Group, and we have Dairyland, Safeco, and Progressive, even Concord Group out of Concord, New Hampshire, all have motorcycle offerings. So you do a separate policy, and it's all separate coverage, but it looks very similar to that of the coverage that you would see on an auto policy, where you've got your bodily injury liability, your property damage liability, you've got your uninsured motorist, medical payments, you have your options for comprehensive collision, roadside assistance, things like that. There are even some companies that offer rental reimbursement.
Really?
Why in the world would you want to rent a motorcycle if yours is not? Maybe you would. Maybe you would. That's why it's there. But there are some really competitive offerings out there. Some companies love Harleys, like Dairyland Insurance. If it's a Harley that we're writing, they have a very competitive price on it. Safeco has a cool option where you can put ATVs and other units all on one policy. I don't think they allow us to do snowmobiles in the same policy yet, but it's nice that you can, if you have an ATV or a motorcycle, that you can put them all in one. After a while, how many insurance policies can you handle? You got the home, the auto, maybe an umbrella policy, maybe a rental property, maybe you have an ATV, then a snowmobile, then a motorcycle. There's 3 more policies. So it can get confusing and be a little bit of a burden after a while.
Now, here's a question for you here, and this is very limited because I've only seen 3 of them in our area, but I know they're all over the place when you get down south and out to the Midwest. Those slingshot deals there, those three-wheelers.
Yeah.
They look like a car in the front, but they look like a motorcycle in the back.
Yeah, it's like the mullet of motorcycles.
Yeah, but you can't you can't operate one of those without a helmet because it falls under the guidelines of a motorcycle. Is that how it's insured as well?
I believe so.
Okay.
And it's interesting. I've never come across quoting one of those. We've quoted some unique motorcycles and scooters of various kinds, but I've never come across one of those. But I would have to assume that, that would fall under a motorcycle policy. So it'd be something we'd have to wait and see as it comes across my desk.
It's kind of an interesting vehicle to look at. And like I said, there's a couple of them around here. They're cool.
But it's funny that I just came out of it nowhere. It's a mullet. It's the mullet of motorcycles. Business in the front, party in the back. Right?
Goodness
Come on.
gracious.
Come on. That's a whole advertising campaign
and just
for that
like
thing.
having a wingman, right? All that side-by-side fun in the middle. All right, so now we've talked a little bit about motorcycles.
And be careful the coverage you choose. Don't underestimate. You want to typically have the same limits of liability that you have on your auto. Don't shortchange yourself. Make sure you do medical payments because that can be vital on a motorcycle. So.
All right. We talked campers and motorhomes last week. We had mentioned that we were going to talk about watercraft. Let's talk about that for just a few.
Sure. So boats, if I have my facts correct, and I don't always have them correct, so please keep that in mind. I do not believe it's a full state mandate that you have to have your boat insured. I do not believe that that's the case. Maybe I'm wrong. But ATVs, snowmobiles, Obviously, personal autos, motorcycles have to. Boats are, I think, have a little more leeway, but that does not mean you shouldn't. It means you absolutely should. It's probably one of the cheapest insurances you'll ever buy, liability on a boat, because it's really rated on the geographic location, whether you're in inland waters or ocean waters. It's very easy to do. It's a separate policy. It's a boat policy. You can add it to your homeowner in some cases, depending on the size and the horsepower of the boat. Not advisable, because then you're ruling out some of the uninsured motorist protection and medical payments protection for yourself when it's on your home. So we often will advise that you have a separate policy for that, but it's very easy to do. So.
Well, the reason we asked that question, because there's that horrible story from over the weekend that happened in New Hampshire where a 7-year-old was killed and a middle-aged woman were killed in a boating incident. I mean, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You got to be prepared for it. That's what insurance is all about.
Remember that when you don't have an insurance policy on something, you are self-insuring, meaning that just because you don't have coverage doesn't mean your liability doesn't exist. It still very much exists. It's just as to who's going to pay for that exposure. Will it be you, or will you defer that to or transfer that risk to an insurance carrier for money? Right. So the hope is that you are covering your assets and protecting yourself, because the unexpected can happen. A couple of years ago, I remember on Facebook, there was this picture of these people on this speedboat, just having a grand old time. They're thinking they were pretty hot shots. And then as they were going through the waves and the wake, something happened where it just all you know what broke through, and it was just unbelievable. And they all went flying. And it's very scary. And the injuries sustained probably were fairly severe. So I shouldn't have laughed at all. I didn't laugh at all at that.
It was a meme. It was a meme.
I think they were all fine at the end of the video, but you have to protect yourself. So I think the scariest thing to throw out there is self-insuring. Again, if you have a risk that you go, I'm good, or you assume that you're good, there's a high probability you are self-insuring, and you just don't want to deal with that. You do not want that exposure, because it's a life-changing event if you don't have insurance.
Well, it's like that thing. You're having a great morning, right? And somebody asks how your morning's going. You don't want to say, oh, it's going great, because that's when it'll go to heck in the handbasket, right?
Knock on wood somewhere.
Don't ever say, I'm good, because that's when it's probably going to get you. What is it? Karma is king, right?
It's karma, yeah.
All right. Barrett Insurance, Tuesday mornings. Tell them how to get in touch with you to answer all their insurance needs.
Sure. Give us a call, 748-5224. Visit our website. It's thebarrettagency.com, where you can quote home and auto right on our website. And you can also visit us on Facebook, YouTube, and Google as Barrett Insurance Agency. And, of course, this gets posted on everything that I just mentioned, except for we don't post it on our building or on our phone, but it's on all the electronic media beyond that.
But it can be accessed on somebody's smartphone.
Correct.
Good policies, magic in the morning, Mike. Enjoy the day today.
Yes. Have a good day.
Robin Thicke, Pharrell, and T.I. up next on